Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Charlie. I hope you're all doing well, especially you, Charlie. I hope you're having a good day. Just leaves me one more person to say hello to. That's yourself, Gonzo. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you very much. We're in a bit of lockdown here. The little one has been showing symptoms, so we've gone through it. It's like a drive-by. It's a drive-through COVID test today. Bearing in mind, Miss Wilkes Hospital, so we're in lockdown until we get the results. But I'm all right. She's got a high temperature. Apart from that, we're all good. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Speaking of symptoms, we've got symptoms of an absolute mess of a club, haven't we? Every day. I've tried to switch off the last few days and that because I got away, but I was just like, every day there was just something new. And it just got worse and worse. You thought, wow, that's really bad. Then something worse would happen. I thought, when's it going to stop? And it almost... The year 2020 seems to be eclipsed in West Ham United at the minute. Everything just... it's just getting bad, isn't it? The season starts on Saturday, and I've got absolutely zero excitement in me, and I keep forgetting the season starts on Saturday, because it feels like I'm watching a live soap in front of me right now. It's just, honestly, Coronation Street, Emmerdale... They're probably pretty jealous of what's going on at West Ham, because this is top viewing.
Yeah, it's a crazy old situation, really, and it's funny you say about the start of the season, because if you were to write a blueprint how not to prepare for the start of a season, this would be it. And you know what? I mean, we're going to get into all the nitty gritty and all the detail in the video, of course. I feel particularly sorry for David Moyes at the moment, because I do believe that David Moyes took the job because it was the last job on offer. David Sullivan offered David Moyes the job because he was the last manager on offer. They were basically the last two turkeys on the shelf, so to speak. And I just wonder if David Moyes is now thinking, even though this was the last job on offer, maybe I made a bit of a mistake here. Maybe this club is worse than even I thought. And I just wonder if Stuart Pearce is there saying, I tried to warn you, sunshine.
Yeah, we'll get on to David Moyes. I want to get on to David Moyes. The mad thing is, when we do this, we normally start with the big topic. And then it goes down, the show goes downhill from there, to be honest.
Which one's the big topic?
I don't know where to start tonight, to be honest with you. There's three main ones for me: Noble, Diangana, and then sort of the Moyes effect going into the next season. We'll start with Diangana because that's the first thing that actually happened, him leaving. When I'd done the video, I was quite calm about it because I expected it to happen. I expected us to cash in on Diangana. But when it happened, when it was confirmed, I found myself getting a bit pissed off, to be honest with you. I just thought, it makes no sense. Just nothing about it makes sense. I understand we're poor, but then suddenly, allegedly, 24 hours, actually not even 24 hours, but just before he was announced, which was a coincidence, we're apparently throwing in a bid of Diangana's fee plus 9 million more. So we already had 9 million. Did we really need... Clearly we weren't that skint then, were we? But I just can't get my head around selling Diangana at all. And the more it goes on, each day, I get a bit more pissed off, to be honest with you, Gonzo, because you know how I said I'm not looking forward to the season starting? I would have had a bit of excitement to see Diangana play in the Premier League. So even my little bit of excitement has just been taken from me. I feel like a hungry boy, and all I had was a loaf of bread, and someone's took all the good bits in the middle, left with the heels. It feels like someone's just took the heel away from me. I don't even...
Heels?
Yeah, what do you call it?
Crust.
The heel.
The crust.
The end of the loaf of bread is called...
It's a crust, my old
son.
It's a heel. It's a crust. It's a crust. People are watching this video screaming crust,
the crust
at you.
Is round the edge of the slice.
Crust, Geo! Crust, they're shouting.
Crust is round the edge
of the... Go on, yeah, sorry. Okay, so sorry, you got to the hoof of the bread, or whatever it was called. Okay.
Yeah, someone's took it. That was my Diangana. Someone's nabbed it. I can't even get toast out of that bit that's not toastable.
Oh, I'm glad you called toast. That's good.
Yeah. I can't even put that bit of bread in the toaster and enjoy the worst bit of toast out of the loaf because someone's nabbed it.
Baked heel.
18 million quid. But honestly, Gons, it's just tuppence, isn't it, in this day and age of the market? I just don't understand it. The worst thing is, it's come out of... I seen the Athletic say someone inside the club thinks it's a good deal for an unproven Premier League player. That was the Athletics line, who have good contacts. So I'm going to go along with Athletic here. But I don't agree. That doesn't make sense because the club also paid a similar fee for Jared Bowen, who who's improving in the Premier League either. So the whole thing is just, it's made up of bollocks. They're just making up as they go along, and I do not like it. And it's the straw that's broke the camel's back. The straw that's broke the camel's back back for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
That's a tongue twister.
It's so nice that sliced the hoof off the breast.
Something like that,
yeah. I think that a lot of the well, first of all, you said the Athletic said it was a source from someone inside the club. I'm just delighted to hear there is somebody still inside the club because it seems like it might be a bit of an empty vessel at the moment. In terms of Diangana, I mean, I've said an awful lot about it already, but I think a lot of the problem with it is, you mentioned it in one of the final games of last season where you said the left side was a problem position for us. And I think, as much as Diangana being a young player coming through and we were happy with what he did at West Brom and so on and so forth, I think he was seen as the antidote, as the answer to our problem on the left, and it was something that we could fix without having to chuck any money out. In many respects, we could manage if Anderson had another sort of flimsy season. We could then move Fornals inside. There was just a lot of stuff that we could do. It would cover the fact that we don't have enough strikers, because it would mean Antonio could play there and didn't need to feature on the left. It just seemed to sort out a lot of our problems. And then to take that away, I just think that's another reason why people are very, very frustrated. I think had it been maybe some of the other positions, it might have been more understandable. But the thing that gets me, and I do wonder about this. I do wonder, number one, about Moyes, but number two, really, how Sullivan could have not expected the uproar and the fallout from this. And I don't mean the Mark Noble thing. I mean from the fans, just to think, okay, I'm going to do this, and everything is going to be okay. I can then invest it in a defender, and that will be okay, and everybody will be fine. It's as if Sullivan wasn't aware of anything else he'd done at West Ham that preceded that event. It's almost as if he was somebody with a lot of credit in the bank who was standing on solid ground. I'm all right. I'm the owner of West Ham United. You all love me. It's not a problem. Trust in old Sully. It's like he said, and then he must be looking around thinking, "Whoa, what's going on here?" A bizarre decision, Gio.
Yeah, it just doesn't tie in with what we hear from people. Mark Noble's tweet is no surprise. Mark Noble for months, and I mean over a year now, Mark Noble's kept saying we need to get young legs in, young players in. He's basically saying Mark Noble is about 2 weeks away from writing an article that says, I do not want to start every week. I cannot start every week. I'm fucking knackered. Please come get some young players in that can actually run about. He's been hinting left, right and centre about stuff like this. So when the young player does come in and we sell him, it's no wonder that he's a bit pissed off. Do you know that bit of carpet we've got in front of the dugout that says there can be a football? Honestly, just get rid of it. That's almost like an insult having that there. Now I see that now. I almost feel a bit sick, to be honest with you. The last two of the last three players come through academy have left this summer. One on a free and one for £18 million. Get rid of that. The only thing that we've got of any kind of academic award to do with football is a master's degree in just bollocks. That's all we've got. We've got a master's degree in bullshit, bollocks and incompetence. That's all we've got. Might as well have that. Masters of bullshit. Let's get that across the dugout, because at least then we're walking out over something that's true. And when we are walking out the dugout, Martin Noble might as well just go over to the Academy of Football, wipe his feet on it or something, just tear it up with his studs. It's not going to get repaired, is it? They're just going to leave it for a little while. Can't afford it. But it's almost insulting to see that now, and I think that's what really enrages a lot of people, that we claim one thing, but what we're actually doing is another thing. And Noble's comments to that, but it's also the manager's comments. David Moyes has said, I want a young, hungry team. Then the young, hungry player are going to sold. And it's put Moyes in a very difficult situation now. He either has to just bow his head and get on with it and suck it up, and then he's a bit like Sully's bitch, to be honest with you, or he grows a spine, grows some bollocks and walks, then he's out of a job. It's one or the other. There's no real in between here. His captain is showing. I think Mark Noble's given David Moyes an out here. Moyes could speak out by backing his captain. Moyes can say, I back what Mark Noble's done. That's a very throw Mark Noble thing under the bus a little bit. But it's Moyes' way of getting his message across without doing what Mark's done. because a month ago, I checked the article before I came on here because I was certain David Moyes said this. Because remember, we had this discussion. David Moyes says, I have the final say on transfers. So I went and had a word. I read the word, and he said, I could not be somewhere where I'm not in charge of the transfers because a manager lives and dies by the transfers. Yep. I think, well, this is interesting then, Dave. So did you sanction the sale of Diangana, or has David Sullivan basically said, fuck off, mate, I don't care what you think, I'm selling them anyway, and therefore your words are now, null and void? I feel sorry for David Moyes. I do feel sorry for him, because he's very much in between a rock and a hard place. He cannot win. In terms of the transfers, he could get the results and do well next season.
Well, I've thought for a few days. I do wonder what part Moyes had to play in this. I'd love to be a fly on the wall and find out to what extent he sanctioned it. I don't believe for a second that he wouldn't have wanted to keep Diangana and get a defender, which of course begs the question, which I'm sure we'll touch on in the rest of the show. Why do we seem to be more skint than everybody else? Which is another question entirely. So I was wondering, there definitely would have been a conversation there. And I say this now as a fact. David Sullivan is fuming with Mark Noble, right? He's fuming with Mark Noble. And it's something I only really found out today. And the fact that he is fuming with him makes me think that it is more David Sullivan's decision than David Moyes'. Because if David Moyes had made a decision, then why would David Sullivan be necessarily angry with Mark Noble? He'd be more angry with David Moyes, thinking, there you go, I told you so, I told you not to. And it's just a little insight there. But when we get to the nitty-gritty, at the final decision, did David Moyes turn around and say, okay, if that's what I have to do to get rid of somebody so as I can bring my defensive reinforcements in, which I think is the wrong defensive reinforcement at the moment, by the way, which again is another thing to talk about. Maybe he did. So did he technically have the final say, to link into what you were saying? Possibly he did, but it was very much.
If you want that defender, you've got to sell Diangana. There's no two ways about it.
There is no choice. Yeah, he was almost strong-armed into it, and it wouldn't have been the route that David Moyes would have plotted. And the irony is, I do think, come the end of the window, that we're going to have our pants pulled down. We sort of deserve it because of the way Anderson has been, and for putting that much money into somebody who possibly wasn't that well researched. But I do think he will leave. I do think that there are maybe some clubs who think they can get a tune out of him, who are just waiting, for the minutes to tick down, for Jim White to get dressed in his yellow knickers ready for transfer deadline day, and to say, right, okay, well, we'll have Felipe Anderson now. And that I might think, come the end of that, we might not have Anderson or Diangana on the left wing, and maybe looking quite weak on that side.
Did you see West Brom come out today that West Brom were actually going to try and loan Diangana, and then they heard that we're so skint and that we cannot shift any other player. They thought, well, let's see if we can get him on the cheap, and that's why they signed him in the end, because they thought his price was going to be a lot higher than 18 million. So that's why they didn't really bother coming for him. That's why they went after Eze. But they were planning on coming to try and get Diangana on loan for the year. Heard how poor we are, how much we need money. They thought, let's try and take advantage of this. And they got their player. West Brom well and truly pulled David Sullivan's pants down over this. It's just one of those things in football you hear that I just thought was interesting. But Mark Noble's tweet Friday night comes out. I haven't wrote it down, but it's along the lines of, as captain, I'm angry and disappointed. Grady's a top player. He's going to go on and become a top player. Were you shocked that Mark Noble done that? It's very out of character. Very out of character. Yeah,
absolutely. Excuse me. That was a good one, that. You don't always... Sometimes you overdo it on the milk, underdo it on the sugar, overbrew, underbrew. That was perfect. That's perfect, that one. I was very shocked, Geo. Very, very shocked indeed. And I think whether you agree with him, whether you disagree with him, everyone was shocked.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't think anyone was surprised that he was unhappy.
No.
But I do feel with Noble. Noble's had I feel sorry for anyone that gets hung out to dry on a comment they've made, because I've made a lot of comments in my time, and if you were to go back on everything I've said and pick out the things I've got wrong, and then constantly regurgitate that, then it's going to be difficult. And it's the circus one. This club ain't run like a circus anymore. I've got sympathy for Mark, because people attribute that comment to him all the time. You know, yo, is that right? So we're not run like a circus anymore, eh, Mark? All right, you know. We were all caught up in the emotion at the time, and the final game, and the fireworks, and the last-minute winner against Man United, and Bobby Moore switching off the light. So he said something. And who can blame him in that moment for thinking, well, hold on a second, we've almost got Champions League here, we've got one of the best players in the world in Payet, things are going smooth. And I didn't hear too many people, when he uttered that sentence, saying, actually, Mark, we are still a circus. Not too many, some, but not too many. So I think he gets hung out to dry a little bit on that one. I also think that Mark lost a lot of respect, particularly when I don't read it so much, but I hear it from people, when he manhandled the fan. I think Mark lost a lot of credit with a lot of let me just say, some of our more colourful fans, a lot of our staunch supporters did not like that, did not take kindly to him putting his hands on a fan and trying to throw a fan off the pitch. And again, it wasn't a particularly attractive still picture, because he was grimacing, he was angry, get out of it, sort of thing. And I think for a little while there was a bit more distance maybe between Noble and the rest of the fans. So I understand him wanting to do this, because I'm pretty sure he would, number one, regret saying that the club ain't a circus anymore, because I think he certainly thinks it is. Number two, I bet he regrets doing that with the fans. I bet in hindsight he probably looks back now and think, actually, no wonder the fans are frustrated. He comes from a West Ham family. He's probably thinking, actually, I can understand some of the people's frustrations who ran on the pitch that day. So I think this was his opportunity just to show where his loyalties lie, and also to show his displeasure with the board. And what is key, and what I think a lot of people, not what people miss, what I've not heard a lot of people speaking about, is the pivotal thing is this: somebody that's in the club, and it's somebody that's been in the club for a long time. This is someone that has had a close look at these owners, a closer look than you and I will ever get. A closer look than David Moyes has had, because of the amount of time he's been there. He's actually looked in the whites of their eyes, and whilst he hasn't turned around and said these are the worst owners you've ever seen, the insinuation is clear that this is a disgusting thing, this is badly managed, this is badly handled, this is it's a tweet. The tweet is basically saying this is a bad decision. And he wouldn't have done it lightly. How many times have you written something, and then gone to press send, and then you don't, and then you delete it, and then you rewrite it, and then you think again, and then sometimes you just send it out there anyway. But there's a lot of times you'll write something and you won't send it. And I reckon that was one of those ones with Mark. I reckon he wrote the tweet out and then didn't send it, and rewrote it, probably said to whatever his missus, do you think, that was not a reaction. No. And for him to feel that he had to do that, I think it speaks volumes to the problems we've got at the club.
Yeah, I've done a lot of this whole typey look at it. Oh, better not that, because my humour can be a bit edgy sometimes, and I've done the whole put it out there. Sometimes people reply like, don't know about that, mate. I think, crikey, you should have seen the one I deleted last week.
You should have seen the fake taxi one.
That one would definitely not have gone down well. But when I saw Mark's thing, I was shocked. I thought, wow, like, this is the last thing the club need right now. But almost, I think what he's done, I know you've done your video and talks about it, but I do think he's changed momentum in favour of the fans, Mark Noble's tweet. Because before that, it was the fans kicking off, the fans this, the fans that. And a few people defended the fans. But as soon as Mark Noble done that tweet, I think a lot of media people thought, oh, hang on a minute. There might just be something here. Now the captain is speaking out. There might just be something here. And I think what he's done, and not only is his tweet, I think it would have been calculated, he would have thought about it, and there's a lot of exclamation marks. That suggests he's very angry, doesn't it? One exclamation mark is like, oi, a warning, oi. Two is a smack body. But he had about 5 on there. That means like...
that damn good trash.
Yeah, come here, you. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to grab Sullivan and get him out of the boardroom like I did with that fan.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're getting the circus fan, yeah.
So Mark Noble, he was clearly angry, but he would have thought about it. He's not a very social media savvy person or that. He doesn't tweet very much and stuff. His Instagrams are private, so he's not one of these people that gives it all this on social media. And when he says it, he means it. Unlike Phil Foden, I'm not sure Phil Foden means everything he says.
What happens? I don't. I
please tell me
No, I know him and Greenwood have been kicked out of the England squad. So tell me why. If I don't know, somebody watching this might know.
They took a couple of birds back to the England camp while in Iceland, so they broke the bubble rule.
What, Iceland?
They were in Iceland, weren't they?
Rather cold for shenanigans, isn't it?
but the worst thing is Phil Foden's got a missus and child, or possibly even two kids, and he put a thing on social media saying about how he's proud to play for England, blah blah, blah, and he's not mentioned his missus at all or anything. So everybody's replying like, Phil, I think you forgot someone there. But anyway, it was
but a very, very, very well wrapped your Icelandic prostitute. It's not like one of your ones in Las Vegas with a little skimpy menu. Honestly, you have to pay for 2 hours. It takes you an hour to get all the kit on.
Yeah. Well, Manchester is not red nor blue. It's just horny. Mason Greenwood and Phil Foden, top shaggers in the England team. So yeah, they've been kicked out of the English one. Anyway, it's a topical joke. What was I saying before that? Mark Noble's tweet was well thought out. He knew what he was saying on there. Yeah. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it, Gonzo. When I read it, I thought, yes, Mark, that's what we need. That's leadership. Now, you cannot play this card all the time. Every time we sell someone that you're not keen on, you can't, as a captain, you have to keep your mouth shut, right? But I do think now and again, when it's pressure cookers boiling away, I do think there's going to be something that gets you. And I actually saw that as a sign of leadership rather than any disrespect to West Ham United. If anything, it's not disrespect to West Ham United, it's disrespect to the owners of West Ham United and those who decided to sell Grady Diangana. And that's who we're sticking two fingers up to, not the football club. If anything, I would argue the tweet is in defence of the football club, which says, hang on a minute, not everyone at this club is happy with the direction we're going in right now. But what was more telling was the amount of current players at West Ham that liked that tweet. Declan Rice liked it, Sebastian Haller liked it, Snodgrass, they're all behind their captain. That's those players saying, we're behind the skipper on this, we agree with the captain, we've got him. And I like that. It does show a togetherness, if you like, an anger collectively. But what an absolute mess. A week before the season kicks off, and we've got the captain doing that tweet, we're selling players, we don't know who we're buying. We're trying to get a player from Burnley for near 30 million that, well, we'll get on to the individual thing in a second. We've got a manager now that's just been undermined or has authorised the sale of a youngster and is getting away with it, scot-free, pun intended. Either or, but it's not a good look for David Moyes. I just don't see how he comes out of this winning. I don't see how the board comes out of this winning. It's just an absolute fucking shambles from top to bottom. The season kicks off on Saturday and no one's talking about the game against Newcastle.
No, well, we're going to have to on Thursday, of course. But, but they're just two teams going in completely opposite directions, those two clubs, actually. And the irony is one of them is officially up for sale and that one should be in the doldrums. But, you know what, we'll talk more about that on Thursday.
Yeah. Anyway, enough. Anything else you want to talk about this whole saga, the mess we're in, the money situation? What would you like to talk about now?
No, I do think we will end up coming back to that because all roads lead to Rome in that sense. It's impossible not to connect all of these things together.
Right, James Tarkowski, let's talk about him. We're only going to talk about this one transfer rumour because it seems like he's the number one target now and the rumours seem to be true that we put in a bid. Rejected, was expected to go in with another one. Did you see his interview? Pardon me.
No.
He did an interview and he said that he wants Champions League football because he wants to go play for England. So he's very much pimped himself out for a transfer somewhere. However, if he's true to his word, there's just no chance he's coming here. And if he does come in here, he's coming for the money. He's coming for the big bucks. And I think he's one of the best centre-backs in the league. I think he'd be our best centre-back as soon as we signed him. I think he's possibly England's best centre-back. Him and Geo Gonzo, I think, are England's two best centre-backs. I think he'd be a fantastic signing for us, Gonzo. But I'm not convinced that if we've only got 30 million, spending 30 million on a centre-back is the right move for us just now. It's almost like what we're going to do in all the other positions, what we're doing with the left back, the right back, the striker, what we're going to do then. Play Diop in one of them? Because we're now nudging a £20 million player onto the bench, and it doesn't really add up for me. I do wonder if there's something there with Diop. Are we trying to shift him? And this is us trying to get the replacement in so that clubs don't charge a premium for us getting a centre-back because we've only got one left. I don't know. It shocked me, actually, us going for Tarkowski. I did not see it coming at all.
Yeah, well, there's two angles on this. I think firstly is the position that we're going for. And I think secondly is the rumour that he just flatly turned us down. And that's not surprising, but in many respects that's the biggest kick in the teeth of everything. Not kick in the teeth, sobering. The most sobering thing of all is that this guy from Burnley, who I know he's played for England and all the things you said about him being a decent player, doesn't want to come to West Ham. And that shows not how far we've fallen, but we have gone backwards and certainly haven't progressed, that we are not attractive. We can't buy these players. We can't buy players from Burnley. We can't buy players from QPR. We can't buy players from Nottingham Forest. And that is the reality of it. And when you look at it like that, I think it's absolutely horrendous. And, whether or not we were... I know I'm going on to a different player, but whether or not we were ever interested in Jamal Lewis, I don't know. But again, it very much gets leaked to us that, he's a £30 million player. Well, it looks like Newcastle might pay just over half that. And then you look at Matty Cash for just, 15 million. And actually, these players are available, and they are available to us. And we can't buy them. I think there's twofold, or actually threefold. Number one, we have an over-reliance on agents and certain agents to get our deals done, which is, I'll say worrying, to legally stay on the safe side. I say that's a worrying trend that I don't like. I also think that there's an issue where the players don't seem to want to come to us as well. And then you've got the third thing, which is I think clubs don't like doing business with us. And I think you put all of those things into the melting pot and you don't come up with a very nice bowl of porridge. I don't know. What a terrible analogy. But or a nice heel of toast, Geo, to your good self. That's so getting the deal over the line and not being able to sign players for all those three reasons, I think is a major worry and majorly sobering. In terms of the centre-back themselves, I'm not against us going and signing a centre-back. But I would like to think if we've got 27 million, which is what we bid, and possibly we have funds to go back for more. So I'm guessing we're not going to go back with 27 million and a quid. Right? So I'm guessing we're going to go back with 30 million or something like that. I dare say we don't have much more in the kitty than 30 million. So it's not to get in a centre half. If what you want to do is go and get a centre half for 6 or 7 million, fine. Then go and fill one of your fullback positions, because from what I saw, whenever on the highlights of what game was it? The Bournemouth game. We've got some issues at fullback. No new issues, Gio. No new issues. But there was obviously something going on there where Moyes felt he had to. Oh, excuse me.
Oh.
I keep doing that. Are you still there?
Yeah, all good, yeah.
Good. Sorry, everyone. Hope I didn't hurt. I don't know what that's going to do. I'm talking about Moyes pulling off Ben.
Whoa! Not tonight. Not tonight. Wrong show.
You don't know what that's going to do for the lads' confidence. They probably feel brilliant.
Have you got a bit of whiskey in that old cup? Dropping your mic. Moyes pulling someone off.
Oh dear.
Who was Moyes going to be pulling off? Just out of interest.
I can't. I don't know. Carry on. So he's tugged Ben Johnson off.
Oh no, he's gone after the young one as well. He's a nonce.
25 minutes.
Brilliant.
What that's going to do to his confidence in terms of going forward for the rest of the season, I don't know. I need to get off that subject. I was going to giggle. I'm 46 years of age and I shouldn't giggle. Right, it's ridiculous. Yeah, we got problems at right back. We got problems at left back.
But
spending all our money on a centre back does not seem sensible.
Giggle all you want, Gonzo. I've been laughing my arse off at the state of the club over the last few fucking days, to be honest with you. It's just...
I hope nobody photoshops that of David Moyes doing that.
I think Moyes offered to pull someone off might actually be added into the Tarkowski bid. Just
27 million and a crafty reach around.
That's all we've got left. Just so let's see how.
Hey, David Gonzo saying, "Hold on, I got a toy for that, sunshine."
We might give Moyes a pay rise if he does that. He might go up to about 11 grand a week, so he's still the worst paid manager in the league. But honestly, though, we're just a shambles. I don't blame Tarkowski for not wanting to come here. But what's concerning is Tarkowski said, "I do not wish to join West Ham. West Ham have gone to Burnley." So will we continue discussing the deal? Like the players literally said, "I am not coming," but we're still like, "Oh, let's just talk."
I see another tenner.
What are we going to do? Put a roofie in Tarkowski's drink before Moyes turns up to pull him off or something?
I'll tell you, the PFA won't be happy with that.
I think he'll be breaking a few COVID regulations as well.
It certainly will. As long as you wear a mask.
And a visor with that job.
No wonder they're using Willie Salt.
I'll tell you something though about Will Salthouse. I won't tell you anything about Will Salthouse. But see if I was like a terrorist and I took someone hostage, I pray they send Sullivan and Salthouse round to negotiate, because I'm getting out of there without going to prison or anything.
Oh, and a mansion, a jet, and 140 grand.
Yeah, I'll have to pay a wee fine, but I'll get to pay it over about 20 years, so it's all right.
You would never have to eat the ends of a piece of loaf of
no
bread
fucking
again.
heels for me. No. I'm getting out of there free. None of that for me. But it's just terrible the way we've conducted our business this summer. You look at other clubs. Wolves are smashed in the transfer window. They signed up Markal from Lyon, left centre back. Saiss is their weakest player in their starting 11, probably the left centre back. So they've gone, we need someone that's playing left centre back that is top class. They looked at Lyon, qualifying for the Champions League final, and that, and they've gone, hang on a minute, let's have a look at them. There's the left centre back, £2 million, right? It just comes down to shite recruitment. That's all it is at West Ham. I'm a bit concerned though. We've got a manager that is known as Dither and Dave in transfer window. That does concern me, because we have seen the players he's gone to watch go to other clubs now, and they're not going for much. The Wigan guy went to West Brom for what, £900,000. Robinson's gone to Sheffield United for £2 million. This is not big money. This is pennies that we're talking now, and I don't believe can't afford these players. I struggle to believe we cannot afford £900,000 for a centre back. Okay, I just don't believe it. Therefore, it means we don't want that player. That is okay. But who the fuck do we want then? Because I don't see anything that suggests that we even want a player. It's almost like we're going after Tarkowski to just show that we're bidding for players knowing A, we can't afford them, and B, the player don't even want to come.
Oh,
despite David Moyes pulling off.
I think many would agree with you on that.
It's almost like fake bids. We might as well just bid for fucking Messi and be like, well, we're trying to negotiate, but he doesn't really want David Moyes to put his hands in his pants or whatever. There will definitely not be a Messi going on there. But I just...
I'm obviously not doing it.
But the whole thing's just a shambles. It's just... I struggle to see any sense of direction. I struggle to see what kind of player we're wanting to buy. Clearly a top centre-back. That's probably the one position we don't need. I don't understand it. I'm looking at it thinking, well, what are you going to do with Dio? We cannot, at the minute, we cannot afford to have a £20 million player sat on the bench. No. We cannot afford it. I just don't get it. I really do not understand it. These problems we've had for more than a year as well. It's not even like it's cropped up. We don't have a long-term injury we're trying to sort for the short term. This is just... It's just baffling. It really is baffling. And tonight it's come out that Chelsea are still wanting Declan Rice and stuff. And I'll tell you something, if I was Declan Rice at the England camp right now, if I was Mason Mount, I'd be saying to Declan, get the hell out of that club. As your mate, I'm speaking to you as a friend here, just get the hell out of that club. If he was to go speak to the more experienced players of England, if Harry Maguire was still there, since he'd been decking people, Harry Maguire would be saying to him, get out of that club. I think everybody would be advising Declan.
Yeah, Phil Foden would be saying, come and join us at the club.
Don't worry about that.
Am I right, ladies?
David Moyes did what to you? No. We've got women that can do that to you.
Absolutely. They've got a lot of fur on them, to be fair.
Yeah, she can keep her fur on for that. But right. Anyway, we'll start moving on to questions, or we're going to get nowhere near them.
No, yeah, absolutely. If anyone's still watching, they're probably disgusted.
I think we've got a different crowd in tonight now. Actually, I think our regulars have gone. I think we've got some new people.
The naughty crowd.
Something like that. Anyway, right, live chat. We're going to do your questions as we go. We've got quite a lot on social media. We're not going to get them all done tonight. We're going to do our best. Live chat, keep your questions coming in, but please copy it and paste it if I don't see it. Also, if you wish to support Hammer's Chat, you might do. I don't know. Our transfer budget. Our transfer budget is the same as West Ham's. Fuck all. But the link is in the description. If you check out the description below, there's a link there. Click it and it'll tell you what you can get. Sign up, become a Hammer's Chat patron, and get more Hammer's Chat videos.
I've almost run out of stickers, so I need some.
I've got plenty of stickers for you, I think. I'll send you some more stickers. Thank you to James Gunn for his £2 donation super chat.
Thank you, James.
Thoughts on losing out on Bogle for $7 million? He's just joined Sheffield United tonight, Gonzo.
Well, he was your boy.
I
you
liked
this
him.
Boy from Derby County, or as you would say, Derby.
I would say Derby,
County.
but Derby for you, yeah.
You like this boy. Another disappointment. You should answer this, really.
Yeah, I think he's young. He's a bit like Nathan Ferguson, who's obviously gone to Palace. I would have liked to have seen them step up. I think it's
Hold on, who's Nathan Ferguson?
He left West Brom and he's gone to Crystal Palace. He's also right back, can play left back.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
so
that's another club that's got a youngster coming in at the fullback position. But I think he was a cheap punt. I think if he steps up, great, we've got a bargain. If he doesn't step up, these are the type of players that you can sell in a year's time. If it doesn't work out, you can sell. It's a bit like Sam Byram. We managed to get money for Sam Byram. He's been half dead for while he's joined us a few years ago. He's barely done anything, and we still got money for him because his wages are affordable for clubs like that. You can look at him, go 40 grand, we'll take a punt on that. It's a bit like Hugo. I think we should have got more, but Norwich have looked at him and thought, 40 grand a week, let's just do it and hope it works out, kind of thing. That's why you're stuck with Felipe Anderson, because you're looking at other clubs and someone's looking at him going 100 grand a week, not really worth the punt, is it? I don't know. I'm not surprised, Gonzo, but there's a lot of the Championship talent has been hoovered up this summer because the Premier League clubs are being forced to look at the Championship. They don't have much money. You can't go abroad at the minute. You can't send your scouts anywhere because of the quarantine situation and stuff. There's no games to watch, so you've got to go with what you know, and that is the Championship. It just feels like all the talent in Championship's getting cherry picked. And we're sat there scratching our arse looking at it going, we've literally sold one of the best players from the Championship.
Yeah.
It's just a bit backwards, isn't it? Henry Sweeting, what do you reckon to Leeds' chances this year? They're spending big and they'll be a big rival.
Well, I'm not sure they will be a rival. I think they'll do better than we will. They play some excellent football, have an excellent manager, got some really, really good young players, and Calvin Phillips is a sensational player, by the way. I would not be surprised if he took Declan Rice's place in the England midfield eventually. There's a Welsh lad, Robertson, something like that I've seen. I think it might be his name. Maybe I've got it wrong. Looks really good. Got some good young players there. I think they had Costa. I think they got Costa from Wolves. They initially had him on loan. They've made that permanent. But it was a transfer that really worked out well for him as well. A really good friend of mine supports Leeds. So yeah, they've been in doldrums for a long time, and if you feel like the owner has held off for a little while in terms of investment, but now they're going for it. I mean, they bid 25 million for White, who was on loan there last season, who's gone on to sign a permanent deal at Brighton, his home club. But it just shows the intent. It shows what they want to do, and of course they've already brought in 3 or 4 players, spent some decent money.
Did you see the rumours that David Moyes might walk at the end of this week?
Yes.
Do you think there's anything in that?
I honestly, in all honesty, Geo, you saw me as soon as we started this. I was moving the camera around and stuff. I had 30 seconds before I saw you. Then I saw it. I haven't really had time to think about it, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, what's your instant reaction then?
Okay. My instant reaction was that would almost be the end of the club. There would be nowhere. Well, it would be the end of Golden Sullivan at the club. Actually, in many respects, it's weird because the competitor in me obviously doesn't want it to, because I want us to beat Newcastle and I want us to do all the rest of it. But the person in me that wants Golden Sullivan out thinks actually that would be untenable. They only had a choice of David Moyes or Chris Hughton. If David Moyes walks, they'd have nobody. I'm telling you, nobody would work for them. Everybody would look and say, well, this is just absolutely ridiculous. And I don't think they do look at themselves that deeply, but I think even then they would have to concede everybody hates us. The manager hates us, the fans hate us, the player hates us. I think it took that at Birmingham, by the way, which is what did happen. I mean, we often talk about the Birmingham City fans, how they were with Golden Sullivan. If you want to do a little bit of digging, want to use the old Google search, go back and look at Steve Bruce. Steve Bruce is falling out with Golden Sullivan, by the way. That weren't pretty either. So they got to that point with them. I do think if it did happen, it would be all over. I think we'd be relegated as well, which would be because we wouldn't get a manager in for quite some time. They wouldn't be able to sell the club very quickly. But I mean, I also didn't believe it, because I do think he's desperate for a job.
James Gooding says, would you respect him more if he walked?
No, I respect him anyway. I think he's a man of integrity. I think he holds himself very well, actually, David Moyes. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good guy. Is he the most talented manager in the world? No. But I think he's a good guy. I gained a lot of respect from how he conducted and basically led. I felt during the lockdown, I thought he led the club really well as a figurehead. And actually, I thought the owners kept quiet, actually. But I thought he kept himself prominent. I thought, I've got respect for him. I wouldn't have any more respect for him, but I wouldn't blame him for doing it, and I wouldn't lose respect for him.
I would gain a hell of a lot of respect for him if he walked. I really would. I would see him in a different light, to be honest with you, if he walked out of here, because I see him as a yes man. I see him as a desperate man who would not get another Premier League job, who's only at West Ham, and I think he fits the owners, i.e., the Diangana thing is a perfect example. He will not, there's no retaliation from David Moyes. We'll sell who we want. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. Right? Okay. This is dangerous now. There's nothing to stop the board selling Declan Rice now, because what's the manager going to do about it? We've just seen the manager will do fuck all. So where's the line? They're not going to do it once. They're going to keep doing it. This is why I think when Pellegrini rocked up, I think Pellegrini arrived with a great big massive cock and said, this is what I want at West Ham. I want money, I want this, I want that. And they went, yeah, right, I want a director of people. Employ who you want, whatever, yeah. Take that massive thing off my desk, please.
Absolutely.
Moyes just come in with his little todger, and he's getting bent over backwards by David Sullivan. It's just...
That's a horrendous thing to say about David. You don't know that David Moyes got a little...
I do, he wears a kilt all the time. You can see it.
Well, yeah, I've heard that.
He's just... I think he's a yes man. So my respect for David Moyes will go through the roof if he walked out, and I say, good on you. You've done what's right for you. You've done what's right for West Ham United, and probably the team would be suffering. Look, I know you said we'll probably go down. I think we're going to be battling relegation anyway. I think if anything, I think David Moyes saves face by walking, and if West Ham goes down, you can say I would have kept them up. That happened because I walked, kind of thing. I think his reputation would actually be enhanced by leaving. But if he stays, this is why I have a bit of an issue here. If he stays, he's either accepted it and he doesn't want to, or he was okay with it, and neither goes down well with me. I think he's probably fortunate that everybody hates the board so much they're going to get the blame. Now I do think they are the first people we should be blaming. They are getting blamed, but I just think Moyes is lucky that nobody's really looking at him in his previous comments, which says, I have the final say, etc, etc. I would love to see him walk out. And also we put a bit of pressure on Pierce and Nolan and Irvine and that says, hang on a minute, you lot are only here because of David Moyes, so what are you going to do? And I would hope that they back their manager as well, and I would like to see them all walk out and say, no, if he goes, we're going. Fuck you. You want your club to be a shambles? Now it's a shambles. And honestly, I would sing David Moyes' praises if he was to walk out of that club, because what else is it? I just don't see how he can hold any sort of argument against the board going forward. They've pulled the rug out. I do believe he's a nice bloke, like you said. I've got nothing against that, but they've comfortably, and I do believe this is what they've done. I think they've comfortably sold a player against his wishes, and that doesn't sit well for me. So next time Moyes says, I want that player, what's the board going to do? They're not going to break their back to go get him, are they? Why would they? What's the manager going to do?
Well, I'd like to think I don't disagree with anything you said there, by the way. But I like to think, why would they? Because surely even they can see the mess the club's in. Surely they watch the games. Surely they can.
No.
Surely they can see
They're surrounded.
that we need fullbacks. They must
The
see
board
that.
are surrounded by yes people, I think. Remember,
They still watch the games. The people aren't watching the game for them. They still get to watch the game. They can still see where we're deficient in the team.
they've
Surely.
seen post-lockdown form, which was good. They've seen us play good football. They've seen us good form. We've not lost anyone. We've lost Diangana. He wasn't part of the team. We've not lost any players from that bit of form. That's what the board are looking at.
I know
2
what
years
you're saying.
ago.
I can't believe that they'd
Remember
be that
2 years ago
foolish.
when the protests happened 2 years ago, Brady genuinely said that Gold and Sullivan were shocked by everything. They didn't know what was going on. Now that's because people around them.
I don't believe what she says, though.
People around them need to tell them. I don't think they do. I think there's probably a fear factor of Brady now. If you speak up against Brady, you're going to get sacked at West Ham United.
Yeah, I'm
So
sure,
would you
sure.
walk into Brady's office and say, the fans say you're doing a shit
but
job?
I'm not talking about someone doing that. I'm talking about them watching the games and seeing with their own eyes. Listen, I don't think they're competent business owners. I don't. Football. Well, actually, Freudian slip there. I don't think they're competent business owners. I meant to say I don't think they're competent football owners. But they've been in football for 25 years, and you can't. They've watched a lot of matches, right? They go to most of the matches. They've watched loads, hundreds, thousands of football matches. Surely they can see with their own eyes. They can't be so foolish as to not know that what has happened this week has been completely detrimental to West Ham United. Surely they know that West Ham needs a shot in the arm. We need an adrenaline shot, a metaphorical adrenaline shot, and that's got to be something big and important and good happening at the club. The club needs some good news. I can't believe that they wouldn't know that.
James Tarkowski. They probably think buying this one big player will solve everything, even though it's the wrong position. They probably think that would solve everything. I generally believe that they think they're doing a good job. I do.
I can't believe that they would.
Honestly, I reckon if you were to say to Sullivan and Gold, are you doing a good job? I think the answer would be yes. We're a Premier League club. That's all they care about. They don't care about FA Cup. They don't care about the FA Cup. They don't care about the League Cup.
Oh, I know.
They don't care about entertaining football. They just care about staying in the Premier League. Are they a Premier League club right now? Yes. Therefore, we've done our job. And that's how I think they'll see it. I think they'll look at that's why I think the post-lockdown form is almost dangerous. It sets a false impression of how good we are, in my opinion. You look at that and you would have thought we were world beaters at one point. We were about 6 in the form table or something, post-lockdown form. The owners will look at that bit and say, oh, that's David Moyes' team. That Moyes has finally got Bowen and Souček in there. Moyes is now.
But you'd hope Moyes would turn around and say, well done, but everything went for us, and everyone else is now improved. Everyone else improving their teams. This is going to be a tougher Premier League than last season.
Moyes can say that all he wants. That's also David Moyes that says, I'd like to keep Diangana, and they've gone, what are you going to do about it? And he said, well, nothing. I just don't think. I think Moyes has done himself a disservice, to be honest with you. I think he's worth more than that. I'm not his biggest fan, but I do think he's worth a lot more than what he's getting treated by at the board currently. And I'd like to see him have a little bit of bollocks, to be honest with you, and just at the very least I'd like to see him back Mark Noble. I do think that's a clever way of doing it, backing what Mark Noble said. It's Moyes' way of saying I'm not happy either, but I'm not going to say I'm not happy. Because if I hear him say, oh yeah, I want a young and hungry team, just shut it, right? You've spoken about the Red Bull model. We know that's not happening. It's fine, we know it's not happening. But you can't then sell our most promising youngster and still go on about having a young and hungry team. It doesn't work. It just does not. Honestly, it's like me saying I don't like Pepsi while sitting drinking a bottle of Pepsi. It just does not work. Anyway, do you want some more questions?
I do.
Right, there's quite a few. Keep them coming. Phil Kent, knowing how things are now, would you rather we were relegated last season and the board left, or go as we are and see what happens?
I can never really wish relegation upon us. I can't see us returning. I think. Actually, I used to say this. I used to say it would be a cavernous, horrible place in the Championship. That stadium. That being said, it's a cavernous, horrible place anyway, with no fans anyway. But I don't think we have home advantage in that stadium. Really, not in its classic sense. And I just think that would be a killer over the Championship season. And I'm not sure, regardless of who wanting Golden Sullivan's gone is one thing, and I do. But you've always got that sort of Damocles hanging over you, which is, remember, they sold Birmingham City to Carson Young, who was imprisoned for fraud a year after they sold it, and they claimed that they didn't know anything about that, which means one of two things: either they did and they lied, or they didn't and they hadn't researched who they're selling the club to. So either one of those is dangerous, put it that way. So there is always that doesn't mean I want to stick with them, by the way, because somebody said to me recently in one of the comments, we should stick with Golden Sullivan because who we get after might be worse. And that's like staying in an abusive relationship and not getting out of it because you might meet somebody and they might be worse, or not selling your car that keeps breaking down because the next one you buy might also break down. It's a very pessimistic way. We have to go for it, and we have to hope that whoever we get in is better. But us getting relegated first, that's not the option I want. I want us to get taken over while we're in the Premier League. I think it's our only chance.
It's fucking heater.
A radiator again.
I'm taking that off the wall soon. Do you know something?
Yeah, switch it off first. Switch the valves
off. Might sell it to David Sullivan and see if he wants it for left back. Thanks to James Gunn for another £5. Depressed market, but tight Mike Ashley spending £50 million. Ashley wants to protect his investment. Our owners couldn't care less and wants to gamble. I think that's right. I think they are gambling. I think it's a dangerous gamble. We are acting like a team that comfortably survive relegation, finish mid-table. No point spending loads of money because we're not going to get European football, but we don't need to spend loads of money to stay up because we should be all right. I think we're acting like that when we're far from that. I think we are playing a very, very dangerous game. You always see teams, don't you? You always see teams that just sit above the relegation zone for 2 or 3 seasons and eventually they go. Watford. Yep. Watford's the prime example. Hover, bang, they're away. Yeah. We've been hovering now a little bit too long. I'd almost say we would deserve it to get relegated. Not us, the owners. They would deserve to get relegated because this is what happens. You wanna gamble, but you're gonna lose, aren't you? I've got do you want an easy question?
Yes.
Iron X1 says, would you take 12th place right now?
Yes.
I think I would take 15th, maybe even 16th.
Yeah.
17th, maybe. I might just, I don't know. I'm scared, to be honest with you.
I would love to say, I'd love to answer that and say, ask me at the end of the window. But if I were to say that, it would indicate that I have some confidence that there's some players to come in. I don't. I really, really don't. These owners have no idea the contempt that people hold them in, the absolute disdain of which they are held. The fact that the people do not believe their weasel words, that they're gonna. We don't believe there's a player coming in. I did the Tarkowski video the other night, Geo. Right, the live chat's open, and I did it live, and I was trying because I was talking fast and trying to get the news out fast. I was trying not to look at the live chat. But every time I glanced over, people were having none of it, mate. Hundreds of them. They're having none of it. He's not coming in. He's not. No, this is nonsense. It's rubbish. People just don't believe a word they say. They have basically made too many promises which they've not fulfilled. I don't believe it. I don't believe there's players coming in, and because of that, I'm nervous about the season.
Yeah, £5 from Waters. Thank you very much, Waters. He says, if a decent fullback and forward was brought in, should we shut up about Grady? No.
Vote for the same time. No, I don't think people should shut up. Really. I think it'd be nice, and I would like the positions done, but I don't think we can't let them off the hook. On this, I don't know why I feel it now, but I do feel it's close. I feel they're close. I think you've got to keep pushing. I don't think you alluded to Moyes letting them get away with it. I think we mustn't let them get away with it. And they've got a lot of. I did my Talk Sport video earlier, and a few people told me off in the chat and said don't listen to it. And I said I don't, because I don't normally, but because today we've been on, well, as I say, we've been on lockdown basically today, and I've been I've been trying to pack stuff up over there, and I did. I put the tune-in radio on, and from 6 o'clock, because Matt, thank you, Matt, by the way, messaged me and said they're talking about West Ham. I couldn't help it. I flicked on. I think I joined about halfway through. And they're not with us. They think we're moaning too much about Diangana was the impression I got when I was listening to it. So I don't think we can relent. I think we can let up, even if they do get us the striker or whatever and the fullback, whatever was mentioned. It was still the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, I want to see fullbacks and a second striker playing with Grady Diangana. Like, I don't mind taking one step back to take two steps forward. I really do not mind that. But you've got to be in a position to do that, and we're not in that position yet. I've always said I think every player's got. I think Diangana had a price. I think 18 million is too cheap for him. I'm not even against selling Diangana, as long as we sell him for too much money. We didn't do that. I thought it was a good deal for West Brom, to be honest with you. That's what I'm unhappy about. If we sold them for 35 million, we didn't get a complaint from me. I'd be saying, well done, West Ham. That's good, clever business, that. But it wasn't. It was stupid business. And the fact is, we can't sell the players we want to sell. We've made it very clear who we want to sell. Now we've got to rely on them this season after making it clear that we want to sell them. We've had to sell. We don't have that much desirable players on our books anymore. And Grady Diangana is one of them. We have to keep a hold of that. This guy's value was only going to go up. If he had a really crap season at West Ham, he would have still been worth 18 million next summer, easily. We've just ballsed it right. I actually can't believe how we've got this so wrong, because it was such an easy thing to do. Do you know, when we had Dimitri Payet, he was linked to Real Madrid, and we were thinking 50 million. We thought, oh, that'll be difficult to turn down. Last summer, we had Diop linked to Man United for 50 million. Oh, I get why. Declan Rice this summer, 80 million. That's why I would understand it. But I just do not understand selling him for 18 million. Instead of one step back, two steps forward, we're taking two steps back. And we can't even take one step forward. It's just stupid. You look at Leicester. They sold Chilwell. Gone in their way to get a potentially better left back and make money. It's unheard of at West Ham. That we don't know what to do.
And I didn't actually think about it. They didn't actually really buy Maguire's replacement, did they? They had him there.
Yeah, he was already
there.
Sochu,
whatever his name is. Yeah, Sochu.
He was already at the club. I mean, they've got that young lad at left back who played the last few games for them, Luke Thomas. Looks all right. He looks like a player, but they need to go get a first choice left back, and they've got 50 million to go and do it. They can have any left back in the world bar about 5. We've got 18 million. We can do that. The QPR boy was 16. We couldn't even get. The worst thing is, I actually think if we saw Diangana before Eze went to Palace, I think we would have went after Eze.
Yes.
We balls that up. We couldn't even sell Diangana before getting his replacement. It was Jesus. Anyway, Foshizi, thank you for the £5. Gonzo, the biscuit fund's adding up tonight. Foshizi.
Oh, very nice, Fo.
Foshizi says, if you had a choice of one player barring Rice and Noble that GSB shouldn't sell this summer, who would that individual be?
Aside from Rice and Noble, I'll tell you who I will go for. I'll go for Ogbonna on this one. Ogbonna or Antonio. Because I'll tell you what, we're not going to get big money for him anyway. You're not going to be able to replace them. What would you get for Ogbonna now? 7-8 million?
Most, I was going to say 5, to be honest. He's 33.
Are you going to get a better defender for that? No. His value to West Ham is more than his transfer value.
Bowen. Jared Bowen for B.
Oh, yeah. Good answer. Good answer.
He's worth points to us next season. Goals and assists, and I still think this. I think he's got a chance of playing for England in the next year or so if he continues what he was doing so far. I genuinely think he was. I knew he was good, but he's better than I thought he would be. He's taken to the Premier League a lot better than I thought he would. And I think we've got a real player in our hands there. JC is also putting a £5. Thank you, JC.
JC.
He says, thoughts on Golden Sully getting the stadium, selling the club, and renting the stadium back to the club?
Don't. I mean, don't. I know, JC, I know you paid your money in there, bless you, but oh my goodness. Can you imagine? Is that not pretty much what Barry Hearn did to Orient? I know on a lesser scale, give it all the big un, didn't he? Give it all the big un when we were going for the stadium and all the rest of it. I think it actually happened to Leeds as well, by the way, and it happened to Crystal Palace under a chairman called Ron Nodes, who was even more egotistical than our one, because Ron Nodes actually made himself manager at one point. I'm not talking about 100 years ago. I remember this happening, and I think to the point where Simon Jordan bought Crystal Palace off Ron Nodes, and Ron Nodes actually kept hold of the freehold to the stadium and rented Selhurst Park back to Crystal Palace. That would be atrocious. I mean, they wouldn't be worrying. I don't think they'd be worrying about marches and protests if that happened. I'll tell you that things would not be good at all.
Right, we're gonna skip to Twitter and take a few questions for that. We're gonna do another show later in the week with the rest of the questions, because we knew that this one was going to be a busy one. If you are watching it live though, or you're watching on playback, drop a like on the video, help us out, subscribe if you're new around here, and thank you for everybody that's joined us live. Now, right, questions. Twitter, West Ham Fan Zone. Good Twitter account if you like your real stuff. I say real stuff. What's the word? Factual stuff. They put up the real rumours. Do you know what the thing is? Do you know how I like doing my alternative roundup, right? On Twitter on Hammer Chat, I like to do an alternative roundup. I like to take the piss out of the rumours involving West Ham, because 90% are just bollocks, aren't they? So I like to try and take the piss. I actually can't do it this window, Gonzo, because the real news is actually funnier than anything I can come up with. It's like, how can I compete with West Ham? West Ham have put fake Carlton Cole out of a job in this transfer window. Bless him. How's he meant to come up with funny stuff with this going on? We tweeted earlier, Jared Bowen changing his shirt number. The same day, Newcastle are announcing Callum Wilson and Ryan Fraser. Sheffield United are announcing Bogle and they've signed someone else from Derby tonight. They've had 2 signings. Wolves have just announced the signing of one of Porto's upcoming youngsters in centre midfield. We're announcing Jared Bowen changing his shirt number with like lightning bolt emojis and stuff. I just think sometimes I would like to go around to the media department at West Ham, just knock on the door, just say, "Do you get it?"
They sold the door. There's no door. Hello.
Social distancing, please. Keep back. Wash your hands. Scan that QR code. Let everyone know where you are before you enter. But after I've done all that, I'd like to just say to the media team, do you understand? Do you get it? Because do you know what really irritated me last week more than anything, I think? I could have my days wrong, bear with me. On the Tuesday, it broke the West. We'd accepted a bid for Diangana, right? That came out. The following day, we all got texts and emails for New Year's season ticket. I just read it and I just think, no. Do you not understand? How can you not get this? How do you not see that was a bad time to send out a marketing message about renewing your season ticket? It's just, I don't know, that thing today with the Bowen thing, it was just one of those things. I just looked at it and I was just like, what are you doing? Like, you follow the official club, don't follow many people on Twitter. You can see Sky Sports, you see all these clubs announcing deals. You're announcing a shirt number being changed. It's just it's fucking embarrassing, isn't it? Hey, James Gunn says someone signed Ampadu today. I don't know who that is. Must be Sheffield United. That's a good signing.
Who?
Ampadu, the guy with the big dreadlocks for Wales, the Chelsea youngster was on loan at.
Oh yes, I do.
Yeah, him. He's talented. I would have liked him if we sold Rice. I would have liked him. Right. Anyway, sorry. Fanzone. He does the good stuff. No alternative roundups there. If you owned West Ham, what would be the first thing you would change about the club and how it is currently run?
I think I probably. I would get a football person in straight away.
Stop Moyes pulling off Ben Johnson.
You can't,
Dave, mate, come on.
It's not right. It's not proper. It's not a good. It's not a good coaching technique.
Probably why
he didn't learn that when he took his year's sabbatical doing his UEFA badges. I'll tell you that much. And mind you might have done it. Maybe Sepp Blatter.
That's why. It's probably why Ngakia left.
Yeah. The trouble is the right back is so close to the touchline. It's easy. It's easy. That's why a lot of these players stay in central midfield. Fornals keeps on saying, "I don't want to play on the wing, Gaffer." I think I'd have to get a football person in straight away, and it would be somebody really really good, who I knew would be committed to the job long term and could actually sort out all the coaching structure and put everything in place. And I think regardless, that person's job would have to be safe. I mean, there's all sorts of numerous stuff I'd like to do with the stadium and stuff like that. But I would, if it was me, and that's what you're asking, if it was me, I wouldn't be so arrogant to think I would know about the football stuff. But I'd get someone that's worked in football all their life, somebody had a track record of doing it. I don't know, whatever, the Southampton guy or whatever. I'd take somebody who knew about buying, selling, setting up, scouting, setting up coaching and all the rest of it, and I'd put them in place and I'd give them their budget.
Yeah, I completely agree with that as well. That's why you look at like the deals like Wolves are impressing me this summer actually. They're going after players. They're not even going after just Portuguese players. They have just gone and got nabbed Porto's, one of Porto's brightest prospects. But they're doing things the right way. They're almost like the English Dortmund now. Those players, if they are as good as expected, they're going to be worth 40 million a piece in a couple of years' time. We're going to be lucky if our players are worth 4 million each, with Creswell and Snodgrass and Yarmolenko and that. It's just the value of our players are declining rapidly, and it's not just through performance, just through age, through injuries and everything. And you just look around and you just think, how the hell is it this bad? How can you run a football club and not realise you're shit at it? Do you know, if I was to take up plumbing, for example, if I was doing a bathroom and after about a week my bath was leaking, I would think, I'm probably not very good at plumbing. Next time I might just get someone in to do it for me. I wouldn't take the bath out and think, oh, the bath must have been dodgy. I'm going to go buy another bath and put that in. And if that continues to leak, guess what I'm not doing, Gonzo? I'm not going and buying a third bath. But it seems that our owners, they're on about the 10th fucking bath, and they seem to think that the problem is the equipment they're buying. It's not that. But you've also got to back this guy long term. Because a year ago, the funny thing is, Chelsea are Chelsea are trying to sign Rennes keeper, can't remember his name, Mendy, I think his name is now, for about 20 odd million. We were after him a year ago when Usalos and Pellegrini were here for £2 million. We identified that goalie a year ago for £2 million. We also didn't go for him, had Fabianski. A year later, he's off to Chelsea for big bucks.
Yeah, we end up with. They did buy Roberto though, so I don't.
Well, maybe they should have gave Pellegrini £2 million and we'd have had a decent backup goalkeeper. But my point is, I don't see how you can have a director of football for 18 months and judge him off that. A director of football needs 5 years before you judge him, and you're going to have to really give him time and be patient with it. Like the Wolves thing doesn't happen overnight. Leicester doesn't happen overnight. It's all long term. Right, Dean Marsh, are the rumours that are gathering that Moyes could walk to be talked about tonight? Well, we've just done it, Dean, earlier on. Andy Walsh, with the confidence gained at the back end of last season and now looking like we're falling off a cliff due to off-field chances, what do you think our chances are for avoiding relegation this season? We've not really discussed it as such, have we?
No, and do you know what, Geo? Actually, I did think about it the other day. It's been. I don't think it's just how bad things are. I also think the fact we haven't had a regular season, and there's been such a short period between the end of the last one, and just the way football's been because of coronavirus, we've not done predictions and all that stuff that we normally do. You know, we normally do those videos, don't we, and all that. We've just not done it. Maybe we should just hurry up and do it and get one done anyway. But I do think that football's played a large part in that. But I also think it's so damn hard to predict at the moment. And I think the thing is, Andy, that I do think it is easily remedied. I really do. I think, however long the transfer window's open for, what, another 3 weeks? I think we can remedy this situation. Because I do think there was promise last season. I am adamant that Bowen and Souček have been good signings. I think Declan Rice is going to be even better this season. I think Antonio's got a new lease of life. I think there's a lot to be pleased about. I think Fornals, if he's moved into the middle, will be a handy player. I do think we do have things going for us at West Ham, and I do believe that if players stay fit and we addressed the defensive situation, that we have got a team that can finish between 15th and whatever, 12th, 11th, something like that. And it is easily addressed because it needs a lift. But I think it's so bad at the moment. Everyone's so down in the dumps, not just us as fans, but the players as well. And you'd have to imagine also the management team now. That it's very easy just to look at things on the bad side, but it is easily rectified. And I think I've got to see some desire from the owners to want to rectify it. And I don't just mean if to answer your question, if I just go with that and we only sign one player and it's a centre back, I think we're bang in trouble.
I do. I agree. I think we're in for a relegation battle this season. I agree with what you said. Easy rectify, but that's going to take money, decent money as well. Yep. I think it's going to take, and it's also got to be done quick as well. There's no waiting for 6 weeks or something. You're 6 games into the season, you can't wait that long. We should have had the players now. There's a reason Sheffield United and Newcastle United and that are hurrying the fuck up this week. There's a reason that these deals are now getting done. That's because we are playing on Saturday. They are getting the players now, so the manager have got a week with them that says, right, now you're ready for the start of the season. Our lot are sort of just thinking, so it's almost like we're playing friendlies for the first 5 fixtures or something, that points don't matter. And the worst thing is we've got the hardest run out of everyone in the Premier League at the start of the season. No use getting them in halfway through. So I think we're in trouble. I think we're in trouble this season. I expect a relegation battle. We're competing and we're struggling to compete with the promoted teams in the transfer market, and it's sad how this has happened. You look at it and you just wonder how the fucking hell have we managed to remove Stadium 4 years ago after finishing 7th in the Premier League with a world-class player in our team. Now West Brom and Fulham are beating us to players. I don't know. It's just, we'll wait and see. Vinny says, is there a cold harsh reality that West Ham as a club is broken and possibly beyond repair?
I think so, Vinny. I really do. Is it Vinny from Twitter, is it?
Yeah. It's Vinny and he's in the live chat as well.
Who posts the archived...
Yeah, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah, well, he would know. He would know more than most. Yeah, I do. I think the perception... It's not just a perception, is it? I think it's true. I think it is broken. Honestly, it remind me of my old Nissan Micra. Did you know? Right, I was driving along the M3 once, and I put the sunroof up. It was a right old banger. Basically, Are you still talking about your car? Yeah. I don't mean Vinny. I'd crashed my Escort. So I went to saw my mate Mark, who was into mechanics, and he said, I've got a Micra here I got off a customer for £100. So I took this thing for £100, and it always I only remember that because the sunroof, I put the sunroof up going down the M3, and the wind sort of took it and blew it off, and it was dangling off. It had this cord thing, and I was driving around honestly, I'm driving down the motorway with one hand trying to stop it, but I had to go slow because any time the wind caught it, it was like a sail. Anyway, but this car, it always had to have a little trick, and it didn't just work. It always needed to be kicked, or I had to carry bottles of water and keep filling it up. It just didn't work. It just wasn't a fully functioning car. It needed constant maintenance and constant tricks just to get it by. And that's what I feel West Ham are like. And they're just not a fully functioning machine. I think any time that it's going to work is going to be in spite of the fact that it's broken. It's because someone's done a patch repair. We're in constant state of repair, rather than actually anybody ever fixing anything, or just actually, like we were talking about with director of football, starting from new. We are broken, and it's not just a perception, but I do think, in answer to Vinny's question, actually, I do think people have cottoned on now. I think the other managers, which is why we could only get Moyes and Houghton last time, I think the other clubs, and I think the agents, which I think is possibly why we only get the shitty agents working with us, because actually the good ones are probably saying to their clients, look, this is going to be hard to do the deal. If you want to get a deal done quick and get the money and get the club that you want, we won't bother dealing with these boys.
Yeah, I think it's quite frankly, Gonzo, I think it's fucked. We've got people that are just not good enough. I have no doubt that Sullivan and Gold love football. I believe Gold loves West Ham. I believe Sullivan loves football. They're just not good enough, though. They're not good enough at their job. That's all it is. I think the moment's passed. I think a couple of years ago they could have stepped aside and got people in to run the club for them and took a back seat. I think it's almost gone beyond that now. I think even if they stepped aside and got people in, I think it's what they've done, I guess, is unforgivable. And I do think it is beyond repair, as Vinny says it. It's just a sad thing, really. There's people not really looking forward to.
Well, yeah, and they're too stubborn. That's the thing. These are stubborn people now. It's just a stubborn, utter defiance attitude to think no, we're
just it's so short term as well. Do you know, like the last couple of seasons, we always thought it was like a 12-month plan, which is just stay in the Premier League and get through to next summer, and then we'll pay off that loan and we'll get another loan and we'll go again for another 12. I think it's almost shorter than that. I think it's now, well, as we saw last season, let's get through to January, we'll get a couple of people in and spend the summer budget, then let's get through to the summer. Now we're in the summer, it's like, fuck, what do we do now? We've spent all the money already. I think it's now, let's get through to January and see what happens, and if we're staying up, we don't need to spend money. If we're in trouble, we're just going to have to spend the summer kitty again. And I think we're almost now living on a 6-month timeline. And you just cannot do that at any point. And it's like you said, it's patch. We're robbing Peter to pay Paul. But now Peter's telling us to fuck off and we can't pay Paul. Even Peter won't deal with us. So it's just... I don't know. It's just difficult to see where we go from here, to be honest with you. They're now hoping that Moyes is going to turn into some sort of fucking wizard and that we're going to stay up next season and then repeat for another year and another year until it's 2023, really. Broken? I think so. I think the one good thing, though, about all this is it's happening before the season starts, because too often, the one thing that fucks me off more than anything is when fans do the protests and we get told it's because of results. Well, if you were winning, you wouldn't be doing... Oh, piss off.
That's the worst,
but now you're doing it now when there's no results. We're getting told, the season hasn't even started yet, get behind the team. Jim White, you absolute nonce, fuck off, because you're also the one that tells us we're only doing it because of results. Now we're doing it before there's any results. You're telling us to get behind the team because the results haven't come yet. What are you wanting? So I'm actually pleased it's happening before the season kicks off, actually, because what we're showing is it's not about the team, it's not about the results, it's not about the football, it's not about the manager, it's about one thing only: the people at the top. But anyway, you know what's going to happen. We'll win. We'll get told now we have to get behind the team. Right, we're doing a couple of questions from Twitter, then we're going to go because we don't want this one to drag on for too long. Here's a good one. Alfie, WHU_Alfie. Do you actually see us signing someone before the Newcastle game?
No, Alfie. I really don't.
Do you think,
sorry to be so quick in the answer.
What do you think we're going to do? Do you think we're going to piss around with this Tarkowski thing, pretending we want to buy him?
Oh, I don't think we're pretending. I don't know. No. I think we want to buy him. I just think we got no idea of his value, and we're completely ignoring the fact that he doesn't want to come. We're just not reading the signs. So actually, we're going to waste time pursuing a player that doesn't want to come. I think we're pursuing the wrong player. I think we're pursuing the wrong position at the moment. I think so much is wrong about it. No, I think it's a complete panicked reaction because they've seen what's happened with the Diangana stuff and everything else, and they know Moyes needs a player, but and I think Moyes is probably saying, look, this guy's an England international and so on and so forth, and he's good, and he probably is good. But honesty, it's like a dork at a bar chatting up the glamorous girl that he's never gonna get, and she's ignoring him. Do you know what I mean? It just ain't gonna happen, and we can't see it. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, none of his mates are around to say, look, mate, you know what I mean? It's not going to happen. Come on, let's go and have a drink. Which is what it needs to happen, really. So, no, it's not going to happen. We are not signing anybody before Newcastle. And you know what? If it does happen, I'll tell you now, if it does happen, I'll tell you, I'll eat a packet of sweets.
A packet of what?
Sweets.
Okay.
I don't want to eat a hat or anything, do I?
I don't know, but I think we need to up the stakes here a little bit. Not 2 steaks.
Two bags. Okay, 2 steaks. Fine. Fine. How many fivers were donated?
To be fair, we've got another one. I'm waiting to read it out, and it's a very interesting question. What are you writing down?
Go on, please.
2 steaks.
Sorry?
What are you writing down? 2 steaks.
I wasn't writing down. My phone beeped, and I actually thought it was Funny enough, it is West Ham related, as I thought it was. It's somebody watching this.
At least do a bit more dramatic. Pretend you're Sky Cava for a minute. Hang on. Whoa.
Sorry, it's breaking news. It's breaking. It is actually breaking news. Yeah, Nigel Quasi is coming out of retirement and is about to rejoin West Ham United.
It's more believable than that prick's ever said. That's for sure.
He's been seen outside the KFC embarking. He's on his way to have a medical. Not inside the KFC. Good. Otherwise, it'd be a big Kentucky Fried Quasi.
Hammer 1999 has a funny old question here. He's putting $2.99 though, so he's getting his question read out. Hammer 1999 says, "Would you rather Moyes tug you off or go down?" Now, I don't know if he means.
I don't go down.
I don't know if he means Moyes go down or we get relegated. But I think he means get relegated.
Ideally, neither.
No, you've got to have Moyes tug you off or we get relegated.
I'd rather get relegated.
So
I know a joke about these things, but come on, let's be perfectly honest with you. I can't imagine what sort of scenario in which that would happen. And I don't even play right wing for West Ham, so it's unlikely.
I'm taking relegation as well. Zero doubt about it. Thank you. Right, we'll do a couple more, then we're gonna bounce. Did you watch the friendly on Saturday?
I did.
TD asks why the pitch looks crap and patchy.
Well, probably because it's crap and patchy. I don't know. Was it the pitch or was it the carpet? I'm not so sure.
I was going to say someone else. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so I don't know. I couldn't tell you about the pitch, but it wouldn't surprise me. Let's be fair. It's had no income whatsoever, has it? The stadium at all. It's had no concert, no baseball, no nothing. It wouldn't surprise me. What if the groundsman there turned around and says, "Sorry, the old hydroponic lights or whatever they are, they ain't working anymore, and I can't afford to cut the grass, and so we've just we've had to use our own fertiliser and all that."
Well, he sold the grass. It's gone with the Diangana deal, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Doug, is it too late for rice to be sold?
No, it's never too late for rice to be sold, but I don't know how much I believe this. I was told he definitely won't be today, but I don't know whether
I can't believe that at all, though. I just cannot believe that at all.
No, but it's certainly not too late for him to be sold. He can be sold on deadline day.
That's the worry.
That's the most likely time for him to be sold, I would suggest.
It's the worrying thing, though, isn't it, that he is sold late on.
And then we get told, "Oh, there was no time to do anything about it." Again, another thing that we're supposed to believe.
Here's Doug M as well. What would it take for Moyes to get sacked in the new season?
Nothing, Doug. Moyes, they cannot sack Moyes. There's nobody else to do the job. I just cannot. Oh, okay, all right. I think if Moyes lost his first 15 games, he might get sacked and he would get replaced with Nolan or something like that. But I truly believe that when they sacked Pellegrini, they genuinely thought that they could get Rafa Benitez. They really did. I think after that, they're probably looking at 2 or 3 other people as well. Sean Dyche among them and a few others. I think they had their little list and nobody wanted it. I had it on very good authority. They actually went back for Allardyce as well, and he said he didn't want it. I think they were pimping the job around to absolutely everyone, and in all honesty, Doug, no one wanted it. And I think, as deluded as I think they are, I think they would know that now, and I think they know that if they had to sack Moyes, there's nowhere left to go. It's his way or the highway, for want of a better expression. He's the last show in town.
I think Chris Hughton's still there. I think Chris Hughton's the only sort of gamble. I also think I wouldn't be surprised if there's been a conversation of some sort with Kevin Nolan, as if to say, you are the successor kind of thing. Should Moyes go? I do wonder. I do wonder if Kevin Nolan would go with Moyes. I think Irvine would. Sure. But would Nolan or Pierce? I'm not 100% sure. So I do think Kevin Nolan would be the guy. What would it take for him to get sacked? I don't know, but we've got a really difficult start anyway, so it's not feasible that it's not unfeasible that we're going to be in the bottom 3 after 7-8 games. I expect us to be near or in the bottom 3 after 7 games for that run of fixtures we've got, but I don't know.
I think Gio, we could be bottom at Christmas and Moyes would still have the job.
Seriously,
I do. I'm not saying I think we'll be. I don't know what's going to happen yet, but I think I could really see a situation where we were bottom at Christmas, and he would still be in the job. Yeah,
I can't see. Eddie Howe's unemployed, isn't he?
That's true.
He's still. Yeah. Nigel Pearson's now unemployed. I think there's a few free agents out there that the board would fancy persuading. I don't think you'd get quite that. I do think you'll get a lot of leeway. The one disadvantage Moyes has got is he's cheap. It won't cost much to get rid of him. Do you know, like with Pellegrini, they had to pay him $8 million or something. It cost $12 million to get rid of Pellegrini's staff and Pellegrini. It wouldn't cost much to get rid of David Moyes, and that's why I'm surprised. I'm not surprised Moyes won't walk. That's why I think Moyes would maybe have considered walking, because he's not going to lose out on much wages between now. He's only got a year to go, so between now and when his contract expires, I know there's a loss of potential earnings there. But between now and the end of the season, in terms of being a manager, it's not that much. He's just got a £2 million bonus in the summer to go with his £2 million bonus from 2 years. Yeah, as well. So he's
and to be fair, Gio, I think the guy,
he's not stupid.
He was given a 6. I think he was given something like a 6-year contract at Manchester United, and I think it was pretty much all paid up. You know, if that guy hasn't got 15-20 million in the bank, I'd be surprised. And looking at the type of guy he is and looking how he lives, he's not someone buying yachts and buying, Bugattis and stuff like that. He can live the life he wants for the rest of his life, so I don't think money's an issue with him.
No, that's why I think he might cross his mind thinking, hang on a minute, do I really need this for the money? Possibly not. Anyway, shall we start wrapping up there, Gonzo? Is anything nice?
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
We'll do all the other questions. We've got loads of other questions. We'll do a video later in the week. Well, we'll do a season preview one. Someone's asked some preview questions, but we'll do a video. We normally do.
We do. I mean, we normally do it as little clips, though, which is little clips for everyone.
Yeah.
Which are, and to be honest with you, probably all I've got is about 30 seconds on that at the moment.
It's difficult.
I do 10 hours. I do 10 hours a week moaning about the owners, but the team's a tough one at the moment in predicting next season.
Yeah, but I think it's because, the truth be told, it's normally me that sort of gets everyone, says, oh, give me the questions or whatever. But the truth is, I keep forgetting the season starts next week. I haven't renewed my season ticket yet. Have you renewed yet?
I tried, and Ryan will be watching this, because Ryan was, I say Ryan will be watching this, might not, might be doing something more interesting.
Probably.
We probably we sat down at he's renewed his, and we sat down at the laptop and had a little look, and I couldn't add my son's ticket to it. It was all ready to go, and I did the drop down bit and the 30%, and there was no way. It didn't seem to know that I had his account. And what it did was, when I went to log in, there seemed to be a new system, so I had to sort of reconfirm who I was, link it through my Google account and all the rest of it, and then put my customer number in there. But there was no way of linking my son's customer number in there. And then when I went to click on the website afterwards to see if I could log in as him, it just recognised me because it was a Google account, and I couldn't log in as him. So actually I've got a situation where if I'm going to renew, I can't renew my son's ticket. It's a complete sham.
Lucky
I need to
son.
find a time to phone up.
Lucky boy.
Yeah, absolutely. I need to. I probably need to phone up. So I did try. I found out I actually had more in my account than I thought. So I thought I've obviously had some refunds at some point. But then thinking about it, I'm trying to be a good boy. I've tried to use the ticket return service and stuff like that, which I've done, and clearly some of my tickets have been bought. So I think I had 240 quid in the club cash, and they wanted 100. Oh, hey, hello, Treacle, come on.
Get yourself a David Moyes. What's it with that money?
Yeah, an Icelandic prostitute. Yeah. So I think so that was fine. So I only wanted 160 quid. So I'm gonna have to phone him up. But I did make a decision. I was gonna renew, but I'm only renewing for one reason only, and that is in the hope that we do get taken over in this within this next year. If we have a repeat of this next season, I think under this ownership, I'm out. Basically,
I've got three reasons. Maybe one, I'm doing the 30% thing. It's pretty much already paid. It's in the account already. I might have put in 20 quid or something. It's sort of like if I had to pay 100%, I wouldn't renew. But I don't. Yeah. And to be honest with you, hand on heart, I am hoping we don't have a 70% capacity till after Christmas. I don't want to go back anytime soon. And it's not because of COVID-19. I don't care about that. I'll go back tomorrow with this COVID-19 thing in there. It's purely to just go to the ground and watch West Ham, to be honest with you. I'm not really that keen on it at the minute. So I'm hoping the capacity doesn't go. But I'm in a sort of a different, unique situation because of where I live. So when I get to see my friends, West Ham is where I see them and stuff. It's not like I can pop round the corner and be like, hello. So that's another reason. To be honest, I've got a couple of other things related to West Ham games I'm looking forward to this season as well. So that's sort of clinging me on a little bit. But
Topshop and Primark in Westfield.
Something like that, yeah. That's not where I go shopping, but okay. It's quite obvious where I go shopping, I think. You're looking at my t-shirt, I can see in your eyes.
I am looking at it.
Yeah. What am I wearing now?
You've got a picture of a little bush. There's a little bush on there.
Thank God you said picture of. I thought, wait, what are you on?
Yeah, you've got a little bush.
I think you'll find
don't show David
I am
Moyes.
feeling groomed this weekend. Thank you very much, sir.
You certainly
are. Wear a kilt, don't I? I've got to be manscaped.
Yeah, I'm only joking. I know what
it's shiny. Anyway, right, we're going to leave it there. It's gone downhill somehow.
Oh, it's been going downhill since the start.
Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're around here. You wish to check out and how you can support Hammers Chat. Links in the description. Massively appreciated. Me and Gonzo, we're going to try and get a preview together by the looks of it, and we'll be back later on this week. We've got a Newcastle preview coming, and there'll be loads of other good stuff. Catch you in a bit. Gonzo, good night.
Good night.